So basically, as I was watching this game between TNC and LGD, I saw LGD do something that I have seen countless people in pubs do, and I just really wanted to be like, see guys, this mistake is so common that even one of the best teams in the entire world makes it. If you can avoid making it as much as possible, you're going to drastically improve your ability to end games of Dota 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at this scenario. Basically what this is LGD is extremely far ahead. You can see 11k ahead, 34 minutes into the game. They have all the other towers except for the top tier 2. What I wanted to talk about is the cascading effect of trying to force something and how you can very simply avoid that by just backing off. So right here we see Ame. He finds a Grimstroke and he goes on him and he pops BKB to do so. So this is a pretty aggressive BKB usage. But that's not really the issue. He's going on the Grimstroke. He's got him down very, very low. But because he is very far ahead of his team and doesn't have any detection, nobody on this team has detection. It's one of the issues of playing a core hero at this stage in the game when you are very farmed is you usually don't have a slot for detection. So they go on this Grimstroke who Glimmer Capes, and because there's no detection, he's going to get away. And he's going to get some spells off. But the biggest thing here is that the BKB is now used, which means that there is no BKB for a later moment. And Ame still has the Aegis of the Immortal, so it kind of seems like they could potentially just go high ground right now if they all just pushed. But instead, they're looking for pick off first. Ame gets aggressive, uses the BKB to try and get this kill, and as a result, no longer has the BKB available for something that could happen later. Now, eventually, the Grimstroke does go down, but it takes quite a long time. And so you've got two heroes back here. You've got the Tusk all the way back here. So it's very split. This is kind of an unorganized, aggressive play that LGD is making. And it's not like they're going to lose the game by making this play right now, at least in theory. Here's where things get a little bit wonky because they've already been a little bit overly aggressive. They use the BKB just for a Grimstroke kill. That's fine, I guess, because there's no buyback on the Grim, so now they have a 5v4 potential. But then things kind of escalate when Maybe jumps in here being perhaps a little bit overly aggressive, thinking that they need to get more out of this BKB charge that Slark used. And now he's up too far without any real team backup. And he gets X'd. Meanwhile, Slark is fighting the Juggernaut down here. And right here, maybe pops BKB so that he doesn't get X'd back into this torrent. So now we have both cores who have used their BKB. And you can kind of see that LGD is like trying to run there. They're trying to get something out of these items that they're using, because BKBs at this stage of the game are extremely important. So you don't want to just use them willy-nilly. And that's why I think that this BKB usage on the Grimstroke is kind of questionable, because sure, it's you remove an important hero from the map, but you also do so very far away from the enemy objectives, and by the time you're able to actually go high ground, you no longer have this defensive item that is going to allow you to win fights. And then you can kind of see that Chalice says, oh, okay, now I need to salvage this moment. So he goes and RPs a solo Juggernaut, but there's no follow-up. Slark's back here. He doesn't have a BKB. He can't go in. Maybe his BKB is about to time out. And all the while, there's still an Enigma that's just sitting here being like, all right, I don't really have a whole lot to worry about right now. RP has been used. They are able to skewer out the Juggernaut. So this is definitely turning out better than it could. But again, no BKB, no BKB, no RP. So essentially, PSG LGD has 0 teamfight left. And that's a problem when you're facing the amount of teamfight that TNC has. This is, a series of kind of over-aggression mistakes, people sort of baiting their teammates into doing something that is not necessarily the best decision at the time. Ame kind of starts it off by making that aggressive play using BKB, maybe sort of makes it worse by using his BKB to get overly aggressive, and then Chalice uses RP to try and salvage the situation and actually win a fight because they've used all of these resources. But now is where the real problem happens, because LGD decides that, okay, well, we didn't get anything. That's unfortunate. The Aegis ends up timing out. That's why they were forcing stuff. And now we're going to go top, or we're just going to take this tower because there's nothing else for us to do. There's no other objectives. There's no Roche to get. There's no other towers. We can't go high ground because we don't have BKBs. So we'll just go get this tier 2. Now, the problem with this play is that they've used all of these resources. So even going for this tier 2 is pretty risky despite being ahead by 15,000 gold. So despite being 15,000 gold ahead, they currently are missing 2 BKBs. So they're essentially missing 8,000 of that net worth. And then, of course, you don't have the RP, which is really your only team fight ability as well. So you have no team fight, and you are actually only about 7,000 gold ahead, fighting into a fortified position into a team that has all of their resources. You know, this is just a mistake that I see in nearly every single pub once the game gets to this point, because there aren't a whole lot of other objectives. And so it's like, well, what else can we do? Do we really just want to kind of sit around and farm? We can't really go high ground. I guess we kind of just all in for an objective right now because I don't know what else to do. And that's sort of what it feels like LGD does here. There's really no reason for them to lose this game, in my opinion. I think maybe about 7 or 8 minutes ago, the net worth lead was about 5,000, and they pretty much just sat on this high ground and then pushed out 2 waves and kept TNC stuck in their base. And then they had the Ember Spirit occasionally going to the bottom lane and pushing this in as well. So they were just controlling the entire map. And I think that's kind of what they need to be doing now, because they don't have these resources. They don't have the team fight stuff that they desperately need. So the BKB does come off a cooldown here for the Slark. But I think, again, more importantly perhaps, is the fact that there is no RP. So they just don't have team fight. And so trying to get stuff done, he goes in to hit the tower to try and force another play to happen. And this is just the this is just the point. There's no point to force this. I see this so often in pubs, and it's just kind of hilarious to watch one of the best teams in the world doing this exact mistake, which is that they're just forcing something for no reason. They don't have the Aegis, they don't have RP. They have the BKB on the Slark now, finally, but they don't have the BKB on the Ember, and he's not even there at the moment. So this kind of play just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And Ame gets extremely low. He's able to get out, and he's a Slark, so it doesn't really matter. He's going to regen. But you can see that his aggressive positioning is now kind of baiting his team to go in. FY kind of goes in to try and help the Slark, maybe goes into the backline to try and distract them so that the Slark can get away safely. But now FY is X'd. And at this point, again, this is another opportunity for LGD to just cut their losses. Let FY die. It's not like he has a gem. Him dying is really not that big of a deal. I believe he even has buyback. Does not have buyback, but he's pretty close. It's not like they're going to lose the game if a Tusk dies here. So they just need to leave. They really just need to let this guy die. There's no reason to take this fight. But instead, they go in. They're like, all right, this is the moment. We've got our BKBs. We've got our lead. And so they all group up around this Tusk to try and save him. And boom, massive black hole. Suddenly, LGD has lost all of their cores without buyback. And they use more BKB charges. And they're just going to lose the game because there goes their entire gold lead. You can see TNC just walks up the mid lane. They take the racks. They take another set of racks. And then they get out. And we've got a 2k gold lead. So 13,000 gold swing just because LGD decided to take a fight that they didn't need to take. And then they suffered from Save Your Team syndrome. So it's like, these are kind of the mistakes that Jenkins and I will pick out and notice all the time in our replay reviews. And again, I'm not trying to flame LGD. I just wanted to point out the fact that even the best players in the world make this mistake. So just pay attention. Is this a good fight? Do we have the resources to win this fight? And if the answer is no, walk away. Let your team die. It's better than taking a bad fight that you can't win because you just don't have the resources to do it. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we will see you in another one really soon.